Hey everyone, we did it. We completed our 30-foot search and rescue boat, the Defiant. Yes, I know the trailer needs some work, but I said we finished a boat. We didn't finish the trailer yet. For the next year, this boat will be down here in Panama City Beach, Florida, where we're going to be doing some training and getting ready for the cold diving we'll be doing up north. Once we get to Michigan, we'll be using it as a volunteer, nonprofit search and rescue vessel. But while we're down here, we might as well have some fun while we're doing our training. That's the new ladder we just fabricated up, 100% aluminum, folds up out of the way, but allows us access to the boat while on the trailer and easy access when we're diving. We're currently set up for 4 rigs at one time, but today we'll be diving 2 divers with 2 tanks each. Now, when we got this thing back in October, about 6 months ago, it was a complete derelict. They were getting ready to chop it up and recycle it for the aluminum. So the only thing it had were its windows, aluminum plate and windows. So every single thing that you see added onto here is something that we've done in the last couple months. Here it is, making my 8-foot bed 4-door Tundra look like a tiny little truck. I swear it's rated to pull this thing. It just looks tiny when you're standing on top of this vessel. I love the angles on this thing. It was originally built in 1995 by Lifetime Aluminum. Something happened where it wasn't functioning for about 20 years, and when we got it, it didn't even have an engine in it. Over the last 6 months, we've been working our butts off, put in about 600 hours of work to get this thing up and running again. If you saw our earlier videos, you'll see that we have a big block Chevy 454 in there, fairly stock. We don't want to push the limits of this engine because we want to have the reliability of a well-built engine instead of the horsepower of an engine that doesn't have much reliability. We have 2 patient beds on the interior. Those are 2-foot by 6-foot by 4-inch thick memory foam mattresses. We use them as benches most of the time, but we can lay down 2 hypothermic patients and treat them right there inside of a heated and air-conditioned cabin. This whole cabin was insulated. We added sound deadening, and then we added this cedar over top. Not to mention all new electronics, all new controls, all new control cables. There wasn't one wire left in this boat that was usable. This side is going to be a navigator and incident commander seat where someone can work on a laptop, work out search patterns, and generally give advice. So I guess it's not completely done. We still need to insulate, sound deaden, and finish this front room there where we have 2 more of those mattresses in case we need to carry more patients or in case someone wants to take a nap while we're out in the water. While we have run this boat for about 100 hours in its testing and running it through its sea trials, we have not yet done a single dive off this thing. So today is a red banner day in the history of the Defiant. Let me just look at that water. You couldn't ask for a better, more flat day while driving out here in the Gulf. I prefer not to go out if there's waves over 2 or 3 feet. However, the boat can handle a whole hell of a lot more than I can. Now, I apologize for this filming technique. Having a GoPro mounted on a spear gun is basically a selfie stick of death, and you cannot film your other divers when you have this thing loaded. You just shouldn't be pointing it at them. So while T was with me this entire dive, I have very little footage of her because I'm not going to point a loaded spear gun at her just to get footage. Additionally, there's a giant spear gun in the frame all the time. You get a couple cool shots like this where you're hanging onto one end and happenstance catches both of us, but the rest of the dive is basically just going to be staring down the barrel of this thing. So as we make our way down to the Black Bart here, it's a pretty shallow, pretty easy dive, only about 75 to 80 feet deep. It's got about 35 feet of relief from the sandy bottom. So fairly shallow for the type of work that we tend to do, and it's only 7 miles out from the inlet that we launch from, which makes it really easy to get to. And I know what you're thinking, like, hey, search and rescue boat, why do you do a lot of diving off of it? Well, body recoveries and vehicle recoveries is going to be part of what we do as our search and rescue organization. Of course, up in Michigan, we're going to be using dry suits and a little bit more technical gear, but while we're down here, we might as well bring a spear gun with us and shoot anything that's within season and delicious and edible. Either way, we're getting training, we're getting more experience, and we're getting more ability to navigate, maneuver underwater, dropping on coordinates, that kind of thing. All this is good training for the future. Now here we are at the deck of the ship. It's quite a large ship, pretty intact actually, which is nice for its age. It's been under there for a couple decades now. I've attached a lionfish gun and a lionfish collection bucket to my grapple. So if we do come across a bunch of lionfish on this dive, we can go ahead and start plucking them off this reef. Lionfish are invasive and they decimate the local area because a bunch of them got out a few years ago, some pets that someone had. You can actually trace the lineage of all these lionfish back to about 7 or 8 descendants. So these were released lionfish that have become invasive that are now just destroying our reefs. So there's no catch limit on them. There's no size limit. If you shoot a 1-inch lionfish, if you shoot 1,000 lionfish, and Fish and Wildlife opens up your cooler, they're just gonna high five you. And to dispel some myths about lionfish, they're actually venomous, not poisonous. Venomous things try to envenomate you. They have spines that will sting you, and they hurt pretty badly. Think a bee sting times 100. But there's none of that in the meat. Plus, it gets denatured with heat. Plus, you can actually eat the venom. It's not poison. Poison is something you ingest and hurts you. Venom is something that tries to stab or ingest you and hurts you. So while lionfish do look scary and they can sting you, they're actually a very delicious meat. And if you get a chance to buy some or eat some or shoot some yourself, I 100% advocate. The more that we're eating these things, the more they actually have a predator, the more we can get rid of them. There weren't any on this trip. It's still a little bit too cold for them in this season. We got to wait for them to come inland. We actually have a tournament next month where we're going to go out and try to kill as many as possible in large groups out in the water. And we're going to be giving away a bunch of prizes and fun stuff associated with it, just to drive more of a lionfish killing economy in the local area. For that dive, I'm going to go back to the mask-mounted GoPro so I can get footage of other divers, so you don't have the spear in the way, even while we're doing this little penetration into the hull here. It's blocking some of the view, highly annoying. So the next time when we're slaying those lionfish, you're going to see us using GoPros on the mask so we can film and look around and get a little bit better perspective. This selfie stick of death is really just kind of clumsy, and you end up knocking it forward and you're stuck looking at down the barrel the whole time. Not to mention we'll be using pole spears, and you don't want to be attaching GoPros to pole spears anyways because it slows them down too much on our next video. And I know this video is going to be kind of boring for you, a lot of you guys. This is not a Mr. Beast video. This is a long, drawn-out monologue over top of like 9 minutes and 9 seconds of dive footage with no fish getting killed and no lives being saved. But this isn't really about getting YouTube views right now. This is about documenting the first dive off the Defiant. So years from now, when we're still using this thing to save lives in Michigan, we can look back and say, oh yeah, remember that first dive where we messed this up? Or, oh, I breathed too much on this part because we still had some anxiety. All kinds of cool things are happening here, and it's really nice to preserve that memory. So yeah, our retention on this video is going to be crap. In fact, if you've made it this far, you're probably a close friend or family or myself watching this over and over again because I do enjoy my own videos. It's interesting. But if you're not, and you do want to help contribute to what this vessel is going to stand for, and that's to save lives and increase awareness about search and rescue in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, check out the description of this video. There's some links to the book that we published, Don't Die, a Survival Manual. That's a book that we wrote, we edited, and we published out so that we could actually promote our own products instead of promoting someone else's. That's why this channel is sponsor free. And here we are enjoying the sunset with all of our gear rinsed. Another good day in the water.